So yesterday I was watching a couple videos on YouTube, which you guys probably all do, and man, this video come by. It was like just a short, like a YouTube short, and it was of the Icon 12s, and they were playing Ratchets by Hedegaard on the Icon 12s. Now that's what I need to hear in order to make a determination on a speaker. Like, I don't want to hear classical music. I don't want to hear shit that I'm never going to listen to. I want to hear Tool. I want to hear AC/DC. I want to hear something that was like recorded really well and implemented really well, and of course is digital, because I mean, as a kid, I grew up in the digital era. Don't get me wrong, when I was 6 years old, I don't think anything digital had been created yet. It was all analog. I remember I went into my, I don't know what you'd call it, my room of shit. That's what I call it. It's full of speakers, it's full of CD players, it's full of amplifiers, my garage is full of amplifiers. That's why I keep giving them away. I just want them gone. Anyway, my mom came over when I bought this house. I don't know how many trips of shit I made over here, but I remember looking at my mom, and I'd worked in the bush for so long, and I was like, I gave her my bank card and I said, "Can you do me a huge favor?" I emptied her vehicle. Like, I never made her carry nothing, but I emptied her vehicle, and she had this old amplifier sitting in there, and she had these 301 Bose. And I don't remember who bought those. Like, was it my brother? Was it my mother? Was it my father? I don't know. And anyway, we got this old amplifier, and I mean, it's not old, like, it's black, so I mean, it's whatever. I think it was a 5 point, I don't even know if it was a point anything. It was a 5 channel amplifier. And I remember we had tube TVs at the time, and I think the biggest TV I had was like a 32-inch. And that was a big deal back then, Like, I think the 4x3 TVs were coming out by Sony at 720p. And I mean, that was like state of the art back then. Anyway, I take this old amplifier and I rig it up upstairs, because I basically brought all my Paradigm shit downstairs that I had bought. And I had a pretty decent Harman Kardon stereo. Not nearly enough power to run these Paradigms. They're 6 ohms. They're performance or reference something 6 ohm 11 E's or EKs or something. I'd have to look, but anyway, it doesn't matter. I still have those speakers. I still use them all the time. I still don't have the power to run them. I just keep them on my TV and upstairs, and my wife's happy, and that's all that matters. So anyway, I remember coming home and unloading the vehicle, and I seen those Bose 301 sitting there, and I know everybody hates Bose, but my dad had like a set of Bose 901s, and he didn't have them for long, but I remember hearing them, and I was like, wow, these are interesting, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know enough about like that kind of stuff at the time, but I was like, these are interesting. And they had to hook up with like a wire, and the thing had to come, and he had a 1010 Pioneer, and he hooked it up to the 1010, and it was just like some, like, I don't know, it was cool. It was cool. So I always have, and I always will, look at Bose as probably one of the ways that I got into stereos, really. Because I remember my mom, when we were kids, actually, because my brother played so much Stone Temple Pilots, and oh God, he loved Collective Soul, he loved Eddie Vedder, he loved Nirvana, he loved Temple of the Dog, Soundgarden, like, you name it. Like, that's all in this era. And she had bought him a stereo, and I'm like, what, your eldest son doesn't get this kind of stuff? That little son of a bitch actually played a gag on me, because it was my birthday, and my mom asked my brother what I wanted for my birthday, and my brother told my mother I wanted a Sega Genesis. I have never played a fucking video game in my life. So I looked at him and I said, "Did you tell her I wanted a Sega Genesis?" And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "Did you get your favorite game with it too?" And he goes, "Yeah, Ninja Gaiden." And he says, and he's holding it up. I said, "Well, happy birthday." And I didn't really care because I wasn't that materialistic of a person. I always had a job. I always made money. I always bought what I wanted. And anyway, so I remember hooking up these 301s to the TV, which was a complete nightmare upstairs, and hooked it up to this old amplifier and made it all work. I can't remember how I did it, but it worked. And the truth is Bose is what got me into hi-fi, like that Pioneer, original Pioneer. But speakers were everything. Like Serwin Vegas, they were in each corner of my dad's garage. I think they were like D9s or AT15s or whatever they were, and like a 100-watt amp would like just rock the joint, like old school power, just rock the joint. And I to this day have a set of LS or no, what are they? VS150 Serwin Vegas that actually an AVR can't run if you're running a whole bunch of Serwin Vegas, which is kind of weird because they're 98 dB. But I'm not gonna go into my garage and spend a lot of money, so I just do it with crown amplifiers, and you know, fronts and surrounds run off 2 crowns, and then the AVR can handle everything else, and you just got a wall of sound, you know. And if you're doing something cool in the garage, you know, it just what it does to me is it just reminds me of my father, like when I was a kid, having Serwin Vegas in the garage. And that's why that's their home. That's where they belong, is in the garage. And like, don't kid yourself, I've had them in the house too, but no, they're a garage speaker. And they're, you know, they're dented up and there's wood showing, and I mean they're old, man. Like, I was actually thinking about refinishing them, and I'm like, oh my god, where am I gonna find the time? I run a construction company. So anyway, I just moved them all out there and whatever. But the truth is, how many people actually my age, which is 50, maybe even older, got their first hi-fi experience from Dr. Bose? My wife has a set of Bose 700s that I give to her. I've since given her my Sony XM 1005s because they're better noise canceling, especially if I'm listening to music downstairs. I actually caught on to that Facebook gimmick and bought a set of heavy earphones. And they're actually pretty good, especially if you hook them up like via wire instead of Bluetooth, which sucks. But I mean, it doesn't suck with headphones, but it sucks in general. But Bose, they are what are they? They are the 3rd largest audio company in the world. Second, or third, the second is Apple, and then Samsung. But Samsung builds skyscrapers and equipment. So Samsung is one of the largest, well, it's the largest company in the world, I think. I mean, I'm not sure, but I think. Anyway, Bose. I still have those speakers. I found them yesterday. And it reminded me of my mother. She's been dead for 13 years. My dad's been dead for 36 years. And, you know, it's not just about the music, it's about the memories. And that was like a huge trip down memory lane for me, in a sense. So, anyway, I hope you guys all have a good day, and maybe someone will subscribe to my channel someday, because I like telling stories and stuff like that. So, y'all have a good day. And don't forget Dr. Bose, because he still affects the world today. As a matter of fact, he owns a Macintosh now.